Hi, I'm Baz, filmmaker, dad, and the guy behind 20 Minute Gamer. If you're anything like me, you don't have hours to sink into every game, and that's why I test whether a game can hook you in just those first 20 minutes. Today, I'm checking out a little indie title called Forgotten Fields on Steam. I hadn't heard of it before, but the art style grabbed me straight away, and the idea of a nostalgic, reflective journey through someone's past definitely appealed. It looked relaxing, different, something quieter in tone, and I was curious to see if it could pass the 20-minute test, or if it would just pass me by. Forgotten Fields is a narrative-driven adventure game developed by Frostwood Interactive, the creators of Rainswept. Released in 2021, it's very much a love letter to creativity, nostalgia, and the bittersweet passage of time. You play as Sid, a struggling writer trying to find inspiration as he prepares to visit his childhood home one last time before it's sold. The game is built around storytelling, exploration, and puzzle-like elements, all wrapped in a warm, cel-shaded visual style and indie film sensibility. Story. This is absolutely a story-first game. There's no voice acting, just a series of short interactions, readable at your own pace, and some very grounded human dialogue. You play as Sid, a blocked author clearly spinning his wheels. Just as he's lamenting his lack of creative spark, an old friend stops by with a letter from Sid's mum, inviting him back home for one final dinner with friends before the family house is sold. He figures a bit of sea air and nostalgia might do the trick and sets off. Of course, this being real life, his scooter's broken, so before you can even leave, you're fixing it with the help of an old maid. There's a refreshing simplicity here. It's not about epic fantasy or plot twists, it's about relatable, small-scale human experience. And as a filmmaker and storyteller myself, I found Sid's struggle genuinely familiar. You can feel the wistfulness bubbling underneath every exchange, and it pulls you in. Score, 8 out of 10. Controls. Gameplay is split across 3 styles. First, you're moving Sid around the world using a standard WASD or a controller. It's very straightforward. Second, you're engaging in dialogue, selecting short responses to steer conversations and progress the story. And third, there are light puzzles and item interactions. You collect objects in your backpack and use them in logical places. There's nothing taxing. There are also occasional QTEs, which are used more for humour than challenge. I did genuinely laugh at a few. They break up the tone just enough to stop things feeling heavy. It's not mechanically complex, but that's the point. It lets you relax and just focus on the characters. Score, 6 out of 10. Atmosphere. The atmosphere is where Forgotten Fields really excelled for me. There's a peaceful, dreamy quality to everything. It honestly reminded me a bit like a Studio Ghibli film, filtered through the lens of a lazy Sunday afternoon. You start off in a cramped bedroom, it's claustrophobic and you're stuck, and then suddenly you walk outside into sun-drenched skies, palm trees and birdsong. The world opens up and it's a quiet kind of breathtaking. You can feel the pressure starts to lift for Sid and for you too. It's all about subtle immersion. There's no action or adrenaline, just slow exhale and a world that feels soft and welcoming. Score, 10 out of 10. Music and sound. Even from the main menu, Forgotten Fields nails it. Cicadas chirping, a distant breeze, and a soft soundtrack that feels like it belongs on a chill lo-fi playlist. The ambient sound effects have an ASMR kind of quality. Opening doors, turning on fans, even walking around feels deliberate and gentle. And the in-game music is genuinely beautiful. The track that played outside Sid's house really stuck with me. It has this ethereal, nostalgic tone that was just lovely. I was particularly impressed by the commercial track that plays in the intro. It sets the tone perfectly, like the opening credits of an indie film.
Holding the flowers to last, I was cast in a feeling, trying to hold you, but you wouldn't ocean love, I couldn't hold you.
Honestly, the only thing that's missing really is the voice acting, which would have elevated even more, I think. But I understand the budget limitations of a small team. Still, the sound design is so carefully done, it barely matters. Score, 9 out of 10. Graphics and style. Let's break this down into technical and creative. So creatively, it's brilliant. The cel-shaded style is consistent, charming, and really does suit the tone of the game. Soft palettes, minimal textures, it all adds to that relaxing, dreamlike quality. I especially love the transition from being inside to outside. Seeing the palm trees, blue skies, and open space genuinely made me pause. It was just nice. There's a real warmth to this game visually. Technically, it's a bit rough. Some characters clip through objects, and collision detection is a little too generous. I ran into a lot of invisible walls or awkward angles, and navigation can feel slightly clunky as a result. But you don't play a game like this for technical fidelity, you play it for the vibe, and it has that in spades. Score, 7 out of 10. Gameplay. Most of your time in the opening is spent walking, chatting, or solving very basic problems. The pace is slow, but not in a bad way. There's something nice about just existing in the world for a bit. I had to help fix my scooter, which meant collecting tools and talking to people. At one point, I had to retrieve a key from a neighbour, and I had the choice to either sneakily grab it or betray someone's trust. I opted for stealth, obviously, which led to a hilarious QTE moment that genuinely made me laugh where I leapt over a fence. There was a few moments where the game asked me to interact using a mouse cursor rather than the controller, like checking a computer or dismantling my scooter, and those sections broke up the walking sections nicely. None of this is revolutionary really, but it's varied enough to stay very engaging. You're never stuck doing the same thing for too long. If you're expecting action or challenge, then look elsewhere, but if you're happy to just be for 20 minutes, then you're going to have a good time. Score, 7 out of 10. Final verdict, is this worth 20 minutes? Forgotten Fields really surprised me. I went in expecting a sleepy little indie game and ended up being totally absorbed. It's not flashy, it's not epic, but it's one of the most relaxing, genuine experiences I have had in a while. It somehow managed to hook me in only 20 minutes, which is impressive for a story-heavy title. If you just want to escape into a little world that isn't asking too much of you, then Forgotten Fields is absolutely worth your time. Final score, 8 out of 10. So, have you played Forgotten Fields? Do you have any other relaxing indie games you'd recommend or that you want me to look at? I'd love to hear your thoughts, so drop them in the comments. And if you enjoyed this review, a like and subscribe would really help the channel out. I post bite-sized reviews of both retro gems and modern titles, so there's always something new to discover. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.